it's a good thing OSHA's not around. If OSHA was around and they found one of these laying on the ground, especially with the shot out, with one shot that's still there, they'd fine you for that. And years ago, you know, I think I even heard that even if you had a whole clip like this from a nail gun, and even if all of them were shot and was down on the ground, they'd fine you for something like that too. It's unbelievable how things work like that. So be careful when you've got those shots for your nail gun. Make sure, if you see any like this, use that last one. Put it back in your nail gun, click it 3 times, and shoot it. And then pick that up and throw them in the trash or somewhere where they're not going to be down on the ground, okay? So what is our video today about? We're talking about more framing here, and glad to have you along. And last time I was here, they had most of this stuff up. Well, look at this. They got plywood up there now. Well, I'm going to take you up there later on a different video, and they've already framed up the walls up there and stuff. But I'm just looking to see how they've got this whole thing completed now. And remember, I don't know if you were here with me before on the previous video, but remember they had this and these floor joists that span this over here were held off of that end. And I thought they were going to have to do something slightly different because there's no blocking back there for where the straps are. Usually when you have a strap like that, you've got to nail that. All those nails into the wood with joist hanger nails. There's nothing back there, is there? And those straps flop over. I wasn't quite sure if they flopped over or not. See, you can see on this side how they flopped over, see? And maybe that's why they don't have to have every single one of those nails nailed. I'm not quite sure, but I found out from the guys who are building this that when the inspector came over here, the inspector made them do some additional work on these floor joists before he signed it off, before they could start building walls up above. And I thought for sure it was going to be something to do with this, and it looks like for some reason this one here, they added a couple 2x4s on the side there. See right there, just along there. There's another one up there, that one there, and then they had to put that little strap thing on that, and then they bolted that into the side. I'm not quite sure what that is doing. The inspector didn't have them do that on any of the other ones, just that. And I know that's been added, and so I'm not quite sure what the deal is with that. But I did look on the back side of this one floor joist header, and the inspector might have made him put these additional straps here. See that big one here, that one, and those over there. I'm not sure. I wasn't here when the inspector was here, and so I'm not saying exactly what he did or what he didn't do. I'm just saying that when you get all your framing done, obviously you don't have to worry about the guys who are building it, or if you're building it, if you're a homeowner and you're building it, they'll let a homeowner build it, owner builder, and then when the inspector comes out, he'll tell you exactly the things that are wrong before he signs off. Now, obviously, and even for your general contractors, the framers, before they cover it all up, they have to have the inspector come out. The inspector will tell them whether or not they passed or not, and then they'll give you a punch list, and they'll tell you what you have to do. Then you've got to fix all those different things, and then the inspector comes out and signs it off. So you want to make sure, here's a tip for you, you want to make sure that you are here, or somebody representing the general contractor is here, meeting with the inspector. So when if the inspector writes an inspection notice with 5 things that still need to be done, you want to understand and make sure that you know what exactly to do to fix those things, so that next time you call the inspector out, he's going to pass it. Because Because if you call them out the next time and the inspector says, hey, there's 3 things on this 10 list item that you didn't fix, or you feebly tried to fix it and you didn't get it fixed, and now I've got to come back, here's another list for you. I don't know if they charge you to come back out after they've already come out once, or maybe they give you 1 grace time, and then if you screw up again and they come out, maybe you've got to pay for it. I'm not quite sure how that works. Okay, I've not been in the building field much lately. I saw this place, and the owners were kind enough to let me come out here and make some different videos of different things. You know, when the guys aren't here. Hopefully there'll be some times when I'm here that workers will be here and I can be off kind of to the side and be minding my own business and not interrupt them with anything, and then show you certain things on what they're doing. Okay, but so far so good. I was also looking out here. Remember, I saw this long strapping material. See this long strapping material? I thought they were going to use this. See, it's got nails in it. I thought they were going to use that for braces on the walls, like down here before they put the plywood. And I didn't see any of that. And see, they've got some plywood getting ready to be nailed. But see, here's one of those long straps right there. See how they nailed it all along the windows? And apparently they needed to do that. It's probably something on the inspection card or the approved set of plans that says they have to have that strapping there. That might hold the whole window assembly together or something. I see they've only tacked it so far. They'll nail it off before, you know, after they put this plywood up. Then they have to get a nail inspection. The inspector has to come back out, make sure that the plywood has been installed properly, make sure it's been nailed off properly. Yeah, there's so far apart on the sides, so far apart down the middles, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so they'll get it all checked. But let's go back inside and kind of look at a couple other things. Yeah, don't be afraid to walk around in a framing, you know, a house that's being built. My pops used to do that years ago. He would just see one off to the side of the road. Hey, they're building this thing. Let's go in there and check it all out. Well, nowadays, more times than not, there'll be a private property sign or keep out. That, you know, the builders really don't want you walking into places like this, because if you get hurt or something, you could sue them. They don't want you around their properties. You know, so just be mindful of that. And I know, let's just talk about this more. I know it's not ready for framing inspection. I know that they haven't signed off for that. I think they've signed off for the floor joists so that they can install the plywood up above, so that they could start installing the walls up there. But I know they're not done with the framing inspection, because see, I see right there's no sheetrock backing along that wall for the ceiling. Like I was telling you before, they'll have to put a piece of sheetrock back in here. Here's another piece they have to put sheetrock backing for the ceiling along this wall. See, up there. Here's another spot they have to put sheetrock backing along there, because you know the sheetrock's going to go up on the ceiling all the way across to that wall. There's nothing for them to nail the sheetrock to. Here's another piece right here where the ceiling goes across to this wall. They'll have to put a flat 2x4 up there and nail it on there on edge all the way across, and that'll be their sheetrock backing. So I know the inspector hasn't really signed off for that. I'm sure they look at that. Does the inspector just leave it like this and say, hey, I don't care how they put the sheetrock up. I'm not gonna tell them. That's up to the builder to decide that. I don't know if they'll do that. I would hate to think that most inspectors nowadays would do something like that. Here's another place that needs sheetrock backing. Here's another place over there that needs sheetrock backing. Here's a place along there, along this wall. And so there's more work to be done in here. I know they still have some other walls they're framing. See, here's a wall right here that they're framing for a closet. You can see where the closet's going to go. They snapped it all out. And here the guy even drew this so that you know that this wall from here to here only it stops here, because he's got this wall planning on coming all the way over to here instead of this wall coming over to there. See? And that's got the header in there. That's this wall here. And see, technically for your headers, if this closet door is less than 4 feet long, and here you got a 4x4, 63 inches. That's 5. What is that? A little over 5 feet long. I guess a 4x4 post or header can span 5 feet. We were always taught that a 4x4 could span 4 feet. 4x6 could span 6 feet. A 4x8 could span 8 feet. A 4x10 could span 10 feet. A 4x12 could span 12 feet. And that's kind of how we kind of did things years ago. But you know, we always kind of put when we did framing for interior walls and stuff, we just have some 4x12s. We would get 4x12s for all of our headers, and we would just cut them off that way. But you know, they decided to do this. This still works. This still works here. It spans it, and it's cheaper, obviously, to buy a 4x4 as opposed to a 4x12. And they do that. And see, for framing, here's your bottom plate here, and the bottom plate is usually made out of mud sill material, which is green, and they soaked it in something, because you always got to have wood like that goes down to concrete. It can't be Douglas fir. Years ago they used to use redwood. They don't do that anymore because redwood costs more. See, and so they found out a way to make I think that's Douglas fir, and then they soak it and they stamp it and punch it with all these little things that look like little staples, and then they soak it, and then you can put that on the concrete. Okay, and so this would be called the top plate at the top, and then they'll have another plate on top of that, and that'll be called a double plate. All your walls usually have 2 2x4s at the top. See there, 2 2x4s. And the reason for that, what's the reason for that anyways? Does that make the wall stronger? Not sometimes, in some cases, but this wall here, it doesn't make this wall stronger. It does it to tie in other walls that come into this wall. You see this wall here that stops there, and this other wall that stops against there. Then you have a top plate on top of that. See that wall there? There's 2 plates. And the top plate comes all the way over to here, and then it nails into that, and that is how they hold the walls together. See? You can see there's another one. There's another one right there. See? So you know that wall is right there. It goes all the way across, and that's kind of how they tie everything together. And that's the reason for those plates. And see, even the exterior walls, they got the same thing. Where you got this wall happens to be a 2x6 wall, and the one wall, this wall here goes all the way over to the corner. This one goes up to it, and then the plate, that top plate here goes all the way through, and then this top plate on this wall just ties up to it. See, it stops right there. And that top plate on this wall goes all the way through. And that's how they nail everything together and pull everything together, straighten it out, line it up, plumb it up, and that ties it together. Okay? Well, maybe you just learned something there. I don't know. And see how they nailed this. This 2x4 here is flat. See how it's flat, and it's nailed on that. What's that for? We'll see when they lift this wall up, they're going to put that all the way to here. Then this wall here, they haven't built yet, but it's going to stop right there. And so that wall fits right here. So when they lift this wall up, there's enough room left for the sheetrock backing for that wall. And then they can nail it into there and tie it into that. And so you would take that and just make an L thing, lay it on the floor, nail it together, and when they flop it up, that'll help tie it in. See, when they lay it out, that's what this all means. When they line it, a line there, that means, okay, that one's going to be nailed flat. Because one guy It's really cool to watch people lay out walls. One guy will lay the walls out, cut the top and bottom plate, and the guys who are framing the walls, they don't really know exactly how long it is, where the window's going to go, where the doors are going, any of that. They just follow the layout on who has laid this all out, so they know. See that T? That's called right there. That's a trimmer underneath the header. This is called a trimmer, and this is a king stud. And they mark the king stud with an X, and that's what that is. Okay, king stud means the stud that goes all the way up from top to bottom, that holds and nails your header together. Then you always have to have a trimmer, 2x4, that goes up underneath your header, no matter how wide the beam is for your header or not. You always have a trimmer under it. See? And then you got a little 2x4 up there, and then you got the small little ones in between to fit on layouts, 16-inch layouts, whatever it is. And it's really very interesting. If you don't know much about framing, if you want to be a framer, you start out as an apprentice, and you go from there, and you just start learning all kinds of cool stuff. Okay, and so, anyways, I'm going to show you. Yeah, see here, they're making a little door there. Here it is, the 4x8 header, HDR header. 24 by 30 inches, meaning 24 inches wide, 30 inches tall. The width is always first, and the second number is the height, and that's 24 inches by 30 inches. And that's probably what that is. And a lot of times you'll see, if you had a line right here and two lines here, that would be 2 foot 4 inches by 3 foot 0 inches if you had a little line there and two little lines there. But since you don't, 24 inches by 30 inches is probably what that is. And lots of times you'll see a door, 3068. 3068, what the heck is that? 3 foot, they would write 3068, and that would be 3 foot 0 inches by 6 foot 8 inches. They have the line and two little lines. If they had 3068, you'd have a 3068. 3 with a little line above it, 0 with two lines, meaning 3 foot 0 inches by the X, 6 with the line, 6 foot 8 with the two lines, 3068, 6 foot 8 inches tall. And that's usually the height of doors. This door opening here is 6 foot 8 inches tall, and that's kind of odd. Well, it's downstairs here, and see all the ones downstairs are 3 foot 6 inches tall, and they didn't call it out that way. They just called it out a different way, 80 inches. See, 80 inches, and they do their markings a little bit different. Now, see here, for some reason they didn't put a header across there, did they? But this opening here, where the door is going to be, they put a header. What's the deal with that? And look at this header. They ran two 2x6s flatways to provide their header, and then they ran some other, here they got two 2x4s flatways. And years ago, I was taught not to put that and then call that a header. You'd have to put a 4x4 there, or you'd have to put a 4x6 there, or something like that. But for some reason, hey, they can get away with it, and maybe they can get away with it because maybe it's not an actual bearing wall. I don't know, because the floor joists are the truss system floor joists, and so the weight of them is distributed from left to right. So maybe they're saying, that's not really a bearing wall anyway, so it's okay. If this was a bearing wall, you'd have to have a header. So see, this one here is a bearing header because it's holding up the middle of these floor joists. These floor joists go all the way from there, all the way over to there. So see, the weight, you need something to carry the weight down the middle of these truss floor joists, because the truss floor joists, look how long these truss floor joists are, but these over here are way longer. They go from that wall all the way over to that wall. So something had to hold up the middle of it. And that's why they put these big headers across right in through there, see? That's why they did that. Isn't that weird? Because see, again, no header there. I don't like it when they don't put headers too. For the other reason, when you install, if you want to install blinds or something above the door, you always think, oh yeah, there's a header there. There's plenty of nailing to put my screws, and then you pop a little screw in there and you think, uh-oh, there's nothing there. How come there's nothing there? Well, because of something like this, and you got to put the plastic anchors in and that kind of thing. Okay, so there's a few things on framing, and I'm going to on my next video I'm going to talk about joist hangers. I'm going to get up underneath the floor a little bit, and we're going to talk about that next. I hope you join me for that particular video. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. I'm liking this. Well, this video, I'm going to talk about a bedroom down here. This is the kind of downstairs, and you kind of call this a walkout. It's really not a basement per se. This is all going to be all built out. The stairwell is going to be here. But on the front of the house, it's going to look like a one-story, because you come into the house, everything is on the main floor. That's what I like, that you don't have to walk upstairs to go to the bedrooms. And then you can come down here, and then there's a whole area downstairs. And it just depends on the contour of your property and how you want your house and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they could have built a three-story. This could have been the bottom floor and then the main floor, and then they could have put a second story on top of that if they wanted. It's just all in the design. But let's just talk about this one bedroom here. This is going to be kind of a master type bedroom. You kind of walk in here, and here you come into this area, and the owners, they're going to have a big long closet right here, and they're going to put clothes on one side and kind of walk down here. It's just the way everything laid out. And they were looking at this, and this is where the main bed area is going to be and stuff, and here's going to be the bathroom, and where the shower area is going to be, and the toilet and the sinks and all that kind of stuff. Well, the quandary was, initially they were going to put a little closet right here in the corner. That's all you need, right? But they've decided, the owners have decided, they want their bed up against this wall, so they can see out these windows, and there'll be a nice view here and stuff. And they thought, you know what, we're really don't think we want a closet in this room at all. If we want to use a closet, we'll put stuff. We'll tell our guests, because this is not going to be used every day. Their guests, we'll just tell them to use the closet here. Then they can make this room bigger. Well, what's the quandary? Well, the quandary is, I told the owners, I says, well, you know what the codes are, and he was aware of it, and I don't know if you are or not, but if you have a bedroom and you want to call it a bedroom, it has to have a closet. If it has no closet, you cannot call it a bedroom. So whenever you sell a property, you get more money the more bedrooms you have, as opposed to the more office areas. Like if you're using one bedroom as an office, let's say, you want to make sure that office has a closet in there, so that if you move away, you can list that study as a bedroom. And if the next person uses it for a bedroom or a study, fine, whatever, it's got the closet in there. So there's your tip for the day on wanting to show this, if you want to show this as a bedroom or not. Okay, the other thing to do is, if you didn't want the closet on this side, you could install a closet on this wall over here, depending where your bed's going to go, that kind of thing. Okay, and I had another interesting thing. I was talking to the owner, and he was saying, well, if you don't show this as a bedroom, if it doesn't have a closet, maybe your property tax goes down, because they only base it on how many amounts of bedrooms you have. So there's another thing to think about when you're designing a room, a bedroom, whether or not it has a closet or not. Use it to your benefit, figure it out, and go from there. Okay, that's it for this time.